Okay. All right, team. I've got us recording. We're gonna get going. So, this is our monthly FitPro show, one time a month on the first Wednesday. And like I mentioned last month, we did say that we're gonna be making a few changes. The changes are just gonna be that it's a little bit more structured, where following each episode, we will throw some uh, topics in a poll for you to vote on so that you have kind of more of a say in what we are sharing about. And then we'll also kind of have slides and a little bit more structure to the content that we're sharing with you all. But as always, you're welcome to chime in, ask questions, throw things in the chat, interact with us, or just sit back and listen, and you can work on other things or tune in to us or eat lunch, whatever your heart desires, go on a walk, any of them. So I am Hannah. I'm the fitness program manager at the Corvallis site. And then with me today is Jenny. She is our virtual coordinator. And
Hello,
so,
everyone.
and so last month with Zach, me and him discussed nutrition for strength training. And after we posted a poll and had you vote, the most common topic that you all were interested in was discussing how to strength train for weight management and metabolism. So that is what Jenny and I are going to be going over today. Me and Jenny are really passionate about strength training, and it's changed our lives in a lot of multiple ways. So I was really excited when this was the topic that people were really rooting for. Okay, so diving in, first we're just going to define what exactly is metabolism. Okay, so metabolism, like the most sciencey definition of it is there are chemical reactions that occur in our bodies to maintain our body and our life. The reactions that happen, they allow your body to convert food to energy to be able to power cellular processes, and build and repair tissues such as your muscles, your enzymes, hormones, and it breaks down waste products for elimination. But like all in all, I would look at that and say metabolism refers to the rate of how quickly your body uses energy, so calories. So how quickly can you get energy converted, so the stuff you eat, to be able to have your body do everything it needs to survive. And a lot of us have different metabolic rates, and our metabolic rates might change throughout our life based on a lot of different factors. So there are components to your metabolism and factors that influence them, and I'll let Jenny take that over.
Yeah, so thanks, Hannah. So the first component to metabolism is exercise. Whether it's your workouts, your any sports that you're doing, daily activities that you're doing, with exercise, we're burning energy. And with non-exercise activity, think of this as burning energy during the little movements you make without thinking. So it could be, some of you could be standing right now listening to this. You could be probably dusting. You could be standing up from the couch, putting a dish in the sink. But just those little movements, you're still burning energy. And that's where we get that non-exercise activity from. Um, we also have that thermic effect of food, and then that's the energy that our body uses to digest, absorb, and process the food we eat. And lastly, we have our resting metabolic rate, and this is the amount of calories that you need to be you to sustain life. Now let's dive into like the factors that influence metabolism. First, we have age. Typically, as we get older, we are going to see a increase in fat tissue and a decrease in muscle tissue, along with gender. Typically, men often have a higher RMR, which is our resting metabolic rate, than women, and this is predominantly due to more muscle. And we'll also see with muscle mass, the more muscle you have, the higher your RMR, resting metabolic rate is. Tongue twister. And then we have our sleep hygiene. And I think this is one we can kind of all agree with, but with poor quality sleep and with short sleep, that is linked to a lower RMR. What it's going to do is really throw off the balance of key nutrients that we need to control hunger and metabolism. You'll also see a decrease in physical activity. I know for me, I was telling Hannah, I used to work before joining Health Fitness. I used to work as a director and I was also doing personal training with the clients there. And in that 1 hour, I had to kind of get my workout in. If I was sleep deprived, that workout, I probably needed an energy drink or I probably wasn't doing it at all just because I didn't have the energy to do any physical activity. Also, you'll probably notice you're a bit more hungrier throughout the day. And in those times, we would lean more towards not so great meals, lower dense nutritional meals that are a bit more fatty foods, higher caloric that are no, lower nutrient dense, and we are typically probably overeating. With hormones, we have testosterone, we have estrogen, we also have insulin that plays key factors. Um, some of us may be on medications or have a medical condition that also will affect our metabolism. And then lastly, diet history. If you have been on a diet or if you're currently on a diet that is restricting you from calories, and this is again happening for like a long extended period of time, you are going to see a decrease in your metabolism and your resting metabolic rate. And that is also going to affect how you burn your calories and at rest.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I wanted to touch on quite a few of these that you mentioned. Going back to the components of metabolism, it is like a whole big picture. So metabolism is a little bit more complicated than just, well, like changing one thing and then wanting to see that your metabolic rate increases. Some things are more powerful than the other, and but there are a lot of factors of it. And as we age, like our metabolism does slow down. I did want to mention on your RMR, so your resting metabolic rate. I always find that one super interesting. We've offered metabolism tests on site before, and we don't currently offer them, but it's super interesting to learn how many calories your body burns at rest. To If you laid in bed and did absolutely nothing all day, your body burns between 1,000 to 1,600 calories to keep you alive. So that's how many things are going on inside that you wouldn't think about. And then when you add exercise and just moving around your workplace, in your house, you get a workout in, you stand up and go to the bathroom, that adds those extra calories that you are burning and boosting that metabolism. And then I wanted to touch on the dieting history. I personally, as a gymnast in college, I had a really poor relationship with food, and I found myself at times, especially when I would go through really big injuries, that I would not eat very much at all because I was worried about gaining weight and not being able to return to sport. And I found that I completely like altered my metabolism at that time in my life. And there was a stage where I couldn't eat really more than 1,500 calories without gaining weight. And it was really hard for me because you wouldn't expect that for like a college athlete or someone that's even right after I retired from gymnastics, I was facing that. And I ended up unintentionally doing what's called a reverse diet. And so slowly, I was actually having a little bit less intense workouts and doing more like strength training. And then slowly, when I moved in with my partner, I would eat more food, but it wasn't a drastic increase in food. It was just enough to alter my metabolism to learn to digest and break down and utilize that food to the point where I wasn't um, putting on weight. But my resting metabolic rate before I had done that was 1200. And then when I did a resting metabolic rate about a year later, I was at 1500. And so that is a pretty dramatic change just from
Mhm.
me strength training a little bit more and like slowly increasing my caloric intake. So diets are going to be really hard on your metabolism, and that was just an experience I had. And it like don't be fearful of just eating good protein and clean foods because your body needs those nutrients. And honestly, sometimes the more you have, the better your body is going to cope with all of it. Okay, so let's dive more into the strength training side of things. So, how exactly does strength training affect your metabolism? It is the holy grail, y'all. Um, I I don't live in Texas. I don't know why I'm saying y'all so much, but it seriously is what you need to truly like scientifically back up your metabolism and boost it. So, the more muscle mass you put on and have on your body, you're think of yourself as an engine. It's just going to be running even better. So the more muscle mass will boost your metabolism because your body needs more calories and to break it down faster to maintain that muscle, increasing your caloric burn. And that's just why like we're always hyping up strength training. That's probably like I could just go on forever about that, but just know strength training is good. And then Jenny had jotted on here, it improves your insulin sensitivity and hormone regulation. Like the more muscle you have and strength training, the better balance your body is going to be. There are rarely, I don't think there are any negative side effects to strength training and putting more muscle mass on your body. If anyone has one, throw it at me and I'll debunk it. And if you are trying to go through weight loss, you're going to and your strength training, then you're hopefully not going to be losing as much muscle. So you're going to hopefully maintain that muscle as you're losing body fat. And it is possible to do that if you're doing it right and appropriately. Okay, Jenny, I'll let you take over our top
This
5 tips.
Okay, so some of our top 5 tips to maximizing strength training. Number one, we have progressive overload, and this is gradually increasing the weight and resistance over time. So, starting off, let's say you're starting off at the gym, it's not grabbing the most heaviest weight to kind of see how many reps you can get, but that's a gradual week by week increasing the resistance. Then focusing on your compound movements. So that's your squats, that's your lunges, that's your push-ups, and that's your rows. I know when I first started, I was queen upper body day, queen upper lower body day, and that's it. But I've really loved to now get into full body movements and focusing on those compound movements, especially when you're short on time. Let's say you only have about 30, 40 minutes to just kind of get a quick workout in, focusing on those movements that are going to be targeting your major muscle groups. And then frequency is another great one, aiming for 1 to 4 days days and weeks. So this looks like, and I wanted to make a comment with this one, especially if you're just starting out, 1 day a week is also completely fine. And we'll kind of dive into that as well. I had a member that, has never started strength training before, and we started it with just once a week, and we picked Fridays. And gradually, week by week, we were able to increase that number to twice a week, to 3 times a week and until 4. But first aiming for what's realistic to you and your schedule. So for some of us, it could be just one time a week, 30 minutes, or for some of us, we can start off with 2, and then making sure that we have that rest and recovery. That's going to be essential for that muscle repair and growth. We talked about sleep hygiene, so that's making sure that you're resting appropriately, aiming if you can for that 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. If you're starting with 2 days a week, maybe you can hit Monday, making sure you're taking that nice active rest on Tuesday. Maybe your next training day is like Wednesday or Thursday, and vice versa throughout the week. but just really focusing on the rest and recovery. And then last but not least, combining with your strength training with your protein intake. And this is going to really help support your repair and maintenance. So I like to say aim for about zero point 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per pound of your body weight. And I want you to focus on spreading that protein intake across your meals throughout the day. So that's for your breakfast, your lunch, and dinner. And that also includes like your healthy snacks throughout the day. I'm not, I know someone probably is going to ask about like protein powder. I don't oppose, and I don't think we oppose to it, but your goal is to try and aim for whole foods any way you can. So having high protein snacks throughout the day, but being sure to just combine that also with your strength training, whether again you're starting off with just 1 day a week and then working your way up to 2 to 4 days a week.
And we're not saying that you need to be in the gym all the time, getting all the strength, but it really comes down to consistency and intensity. So if you can consistently for the rest of your life, honestly, like I plan on strength training for until I literally cannot.
Cannot.
But there are times I don't enjoy it. Like I kind of get burnt out a little bit, and that's when I really truly do the bare minimum. And luckily, I've built such a consistency over the last couple years that if I'm only going to do 3 exercises very briefly, like twice a week or something, just to maintain what I got, like I, you don't go backwards when you've been so consistent for so long, unless you just completely fall off for a month at a time. But it's like use your motivation as much as you can. You'll lose motivation. And when that's happening, do what the bare minimum of what you need to do. And then like find a way to get that motivation back and then stick with it. But if you can consistently commit to strength training, I'd say, yeah, 1 to 4 days a week for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you will see change if you're doing it correctly. And so we're going to kind of guide you in how to build a plan and how to do this correctly next.
And I wanted to actually add another tip, Hannah. Tracking your progress like beyond the scale. I know some of us are like we love looking at our scale each morning, but there's just other ways to also track progress. It could be progress photos. That used to be one of my favorite things to do, or like how you fit into your clothes after some time, taking like measurements. If you're really super cool, you have access to like in-body scan machines or at your gym, but just finding other ways to help just keep you motivated and track your progress along the way.
Hmm. Okay, so getting started, how are you going to build your own strength plan for weight management? Okay. Um, I'm sure we have people on the line that are experts and they are coming in the gym, strength training 4 or 5 days a week. We might have some that are maybe 2, 3 days, might have some that once every couple weeks, or maybe some that are zero, and that's fine. So we're going to think about where you're at and how this applies to you. So, number one, we're going to look at frequency. How many days a week do you know that you can commit to getting in a gym and strength training? So once you figure out, is it one, is it two? And always set your bar lower than what you might want to, because it feels way better to be successful and it will probably help you stay motivated than fail at meeting what you expected yourself to and then giving up. So sometimes I have someone that I hasn't been in the gym for the last year or two, and they come in and they tell me they want to be in here 3 days a week. And I love that. I love that. But going from 0 to 3 days a week, I've had people even come and say they want to do 5 days a week, and I'm like, okay, that ain't even happening for me right now. So, um, I would drop that person down to like 1 to 2 days a week and then deciding, looking at that and saying, okay, so how much time do you actually have? Is it 10 minutes? Great. We will make a workout that you will see progress just doing 10 minutes. Is it 20? Is it 30? Is it an hour? So look at those section lengths. And then based on how many days a week you're going to be in, how long those workouts are, we look at splits. So are you going to be doing 2 days a week and doing an upper body day and a lower body day? Or are you going to do those 2 days a week as both full body days? Are you doing 1 day a week? I would do all full body that day. Are you doing 3 days a week? We could do a push, pull, and a lower, and we'll give some examples on what those workouts look like. So just pick what you know you can accomplish successfully for the next month, 2 months to a year, and let's run with it. Um, Once we figured out the frequency, then we look at what are your exercises. And like Jenny said, they're the big compound movements. When we say compound movements, multiple joints are moving at the same time. These exercises take a lot of effort. So you'll get more bang for your buck. Think about when you sit on a machine and you do leg extensions and compare how the difficulty of that compared to standing up with a bar on your back and squatting. The squat is going to take a lot more focus and energy and be a lot more exhausting, even though the leg extensions, you feel exhausted in the one muscle group, but think about the whole picture. We want to be training as many muscles as possible at the same time. So, our compound movements, squats, deadlifts, lunges, bench press, overhead press, lat pull downs, and rows. I'm sure there's some other that Jenny could throw in there, but we want to have equal amounts of pushes and pulls. We don't want to do more push than pull or vice versa. We're always a little bit more okay with you doing more pull exercises than push because we are so like rounded forward. So we like want you doing the big pulls, but think about balancing it out with push and pull and then making sure if you're a runner or a biker, that does not mean you should never train legs. Okay. So let's like have an equal balance of both
Balance.
lower and upper. So on the right, I kind of jotted this table down, and this isn't showing you what to do, but it's a little like template if you're getting started. This would be a perfect 1 day a week plan to get started. And we'll give exercises in the next slides, but one exercise would be your lower body push, so a squat or a lunge. Then you would go into an upper body pull to let that lower body rest for a little bit. So that would be a lat pull down or a bent over row, working your back and your biceps. Then we could go back to lower since we gave our lower body a break and do a lower body pull. So this is where deadlifts are great, Romanian deadlifts or regular barbell deadlifts, or we could go into hip thrusts. Training a lot of that posterior side of your lower body, and then going to upper body push. So bench press and overhead press, training your chest and your triceps and your shoulders. Um, and then we usually want you in between the range of 2 to 4 sets. Okay, beginners, I'd say stay on the 2 set side, more advanced on the 4 set side. And I do want to touch your sets don't count until you're on your working weight. When I say working weight, I mean you're, I'm going to do bench press, for example. Okay. We're getting all set up. We've got the barbell. We're laying on our back. We warm up with the bar. We throw some
Wait.
10s, 15s on. We get going. We throw some more weight on and say, we've already done then 3 sets. Oh, yay, I'm done. No, not correct. You got to that third set and that weight was finally like challenging and hard. That's set number one. And we do 8 to 12 reps, we rest, and then we go to set number two again with that same weight, 8 to 12 reps, and we rest, and then we do a third set or a fourth, whatever you're working up to. But we want to that's where I see a lot of mistakes being made is like you're just doing a bunch of sets and maybe your last set was finally hard and then you're done. That's where you should truly be starting to be able to get into the muscle hypertrophy, which is building lean muscle mass. Okay. So muscle hypertrophy training with that progressive overload that Jenny talked about. And then the key is consistency. Do that every week, slowly increase those weights, but stick with it, even if it's 20 minutes one time a week. Okay, so let's look at some sample workouts. Um, here's an example for a 1 day plan. Full body. You're in 1 time a week in the gym. We want you doing lower body and upper body, and then we just top it off with some core at the end. So if you see a plan, if this might work out great for you, take a screenshot. This is a great workout to get started with. We could do goblet squats, bent over rows, some RDLs, bench press, some plank holds. This is a really well-rounded workout, making sure that you are resting at least 90 to 120 seconds between your sets. And then when I say 8 to 12 reps, the reason we put that is because so many people just, okay, I'm gonna do 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 10. Um, but you might get to 10 and you have a few more reps in your tank ready to go. Why are you stopping at 10? You should get to the point where you finish your reps and you maybe say you get to 11, you could maybe do one more, you might fail on it. We're calling it at 11. Failure isn't a bad thing, but we don't need to go to failure every single time to see progress. But you need to learn to push yourself to the point where you get to your last few reps and you only have max 2 reps left over when you set the bar down or your weights down and you're resting. Anything else you want to chime in, Jenny?
Just looking at these exercises, there are some that they are some that you can even do like at home, at your home gym if you have at least like one dumbbell or one kettlebell. The bent over row, it's great to use with a barbell, but you can definitely use a dumbbell as well. So there's always some great exercises that you can even do at your own home, and you don't have to go out to the gym if you don't have access.
Mm-hmm. I would just recommend getting
Variety.
purchasing like
Yeah.
weights where you can progress. So you're not always grabbing the 15-pound dumbbells over and over, that we can challenge our body, because at a point your body will get hit that plateau and you're just going to stay stuck and might even go backwards a little bit because we're not adding that extra stimulus. Okay, let's look at a 2 day plan. Okay, 2 day split. If you're doing 2 days a week, you could do either 2 full body days or 1 lower body day and 1 upper body day. So we split this with lower and upper. Um, if you did looked at the previous plan on the 1 day split, I would be very happy if someone did that twice a week. So they're adding that same stimulus to their body twice a week. ACSM guidelines say that we should be hitting every muscle group around twice a week. However, when you are doing this 2 day split of lower and upper, you're adding like excess stimulus to those different body parts. So you're still going to see really good progress.
Yeah. When I started strength training, this is kind of like how I had my workout split lower and upper. The only reason why I felt like full body was a bit more easier for me is if I couldn't tackle like an upper body day because of a meeting or something.
Hmm.
If you do love this format, definitely do keep this format. But if you prefer a full body, like Hannah said, that first example twice a week is also great.
Yeah. And when you're looking at this, just look at the exercises. We have equal or a good amounts of push and pull. So goblet squats, that's a push. RDLs is a pull. Lunges is a push. Hamstring curls is a pull. And then we just got some plank holds because planks are the holy grail. uh, we all need to be doing planks. And then upper body, we've got bent over row, that's a pull. Bench press is a push. Lat pull down is a pull. Cable triceps is a push. And then some extra core. So push, pull, push, pull. That's how you want to balance things out. And like Jenny said, if you have like something really busy is coming up, I know summer's been so crazy for me. I know that a lot of times I can only get a lift in here 2 to 3 days a week. So I'm making sure that I'm adjusting how I'm hitting my upper body and my lower body and my push and pull evenly. So you just have to start to think ahead and plan for life. All right. Let's go. Last one we'll look at is a 3 day split. Okay. So we've got lower body day, a push day, and a pull day. So this would be tailored to someone that is coming in the gym consistently 3 days a week. You will notice that our push day and our pull day do have a good amount of like that's 2 upper body days. However, on our pull day, I did add in here like hex bar deadlifts. So we are adding a second stimulus that week to the lower body. Um, but lower body a lot of times takes longer to recover than our upper body does because those muscle groups are so much bigger. So this is how we would kind of design a 3 day split. But again, it depends on your goals. It depends on what are you able to commit to. But this is a good example and something that you could implement yourself as well. Okay, I think that wrap brings us right to the end of time. If anyone has questions, I kind of saw the chat box going and Zach's got been chiming in there. Um, Reach out to any of us fitness program managers. We are here to build you a workout plan tailored specifically to what are your goals, what are your barriers, what can you commit to. So we would sit down, we would talk about how many days a week can you get in the gym? What injuries have you had? What are you trying to accomplish? And we would design one of these programs specifically for you and check in and make sure that you are seeing appropriate progress. Okay. So make sure that you're taking advantage of us. All right, everyone. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank
Appreciate you
you.
hopping on with us. And we'll be posting a topic for you all to vote on so that you can have a say in what we talk about next month.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yep. See you, team.